This episode of the Polyhedron Collider Cast is sponsored by Kienda. Go to www.kienda.co.uk/Polyhedron Collider for a discount off your first order. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Polyhedron Collider Cast, episode 171. I'm Steve Tudor.
Hi, I'm Andy Lewis.
I'm Sid Gill.
And I'm Rory Summers, and it's not our birthday episode, but we are going to start our episode by talking about some birthdays.
Anyone in particular?
Has there been notable birthdays?
Nah.
Yes, I think the first notable birthday that we'll go into is Osprey Games celebrated 10 years. They're 10-year-old now, which I find quite hard to believe, actually. I feel like Osprey Games has been around for a lot longer.
I was going to say that. I thought they were older.
Osprey, the publishing company on mass, has been around longer, but the games bit is only 10 years old. And they've put out some belters. Steve and I went to the party, so thank you very much for inviting us, Osprey. And we did a little tour around this lovely little brewery. It
was Tap Social, which is the brew house where they hire, I believe, ex-convicts.
Okay.
In fact, interestingly enough, I went there on the Thursday for that birthday party, and then 3 members of this podcast went to a beer festival where they had their beers available.
Oh,
so it was very, they were around,
very
yeah.
good, but yeah.
It would have been a fantastic venue if it wasn't for the fact that it was 35 degrees outside and there was no air conditioning and a tin roof.
It was so hot. My sweat was sweating. It was so hot.
They've released photographs, so they actually sent a link to all these official photographs, and in every single photograph, I am pink. I am that hot. Every single blood vessel is just screaming to get out of my body.
But it was
really good.
It was, wasn't it? We did. They had like an upstairs room, and they had all of the games they've ever published. And we're walking around going, I forgot. Oh, there's that one. That's Osprey as well. And that one. And that one. And we had a great time. We even got to see a little sneak peek of Ayara, the new Fabio Lopiano and Mandela game coming out later this year. And Steve and I had the brilliant idea that I should have stolen it. But we had that idea.
I think you would have got away with it.
I think I would have done, right? I think I could have done. But I didn't. I hope it hasn't gone missing. I hope it hasn't gone missing. And now this is a terribly done. Yeah. But we got to see that, and I was very excited to see that. There was no rule book, though. So Steve did challenge me to, go on then, Rory, you've looked at all the components. How do you play? And it was like, oh, how could I figure out a Fabio Lopiano game on the fly? No.
I think the answer's no.
So we sat down instead, and we played High Society.
That's an excellent game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we played it with the crew from Rascal Town Miniatures and the Jugs podcast. So that's Louise, also known as Suggs, Chris Peach, as in Peachy Tips, and Tom, who is their 3D modeller. And we taught them High Society.
Well, that's very generous
hilarious
of you, Steve. You taught everybody how to play High Society.
Yeah, because you hadn't played it before either.
I had. I've just completely forgotten it.
It was absolutely hilarious when everyone realised that point. When you're not supposed to spend all your money, and everyone suddenly realised, hang on, these cards aren't linear. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, and £5. They're all going up in different values. And Louise said the funniest thing. She goes, "I got this. I know all the numbers, so I've got this."
Good work.
And she blatantly didn't. She completely couldn't add up. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Skills.
And Tom spent the last third of the game with only we had $1 in his hand. He had one. And he just had to keep using it. We go, no, pass, because he couldn't run out of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that was really good though.
Yeah, I smoked through all of that game. So
I'm terrible at that game though. I am absolutely terrible at that game. To be fair,
You're terrible at any kind of bluffing game, though, Steve.
well, yeah, it's just true. I can't bluff. I can't lie. I can't bid. Everyone knows exactly what my brain is thinking. It's not as if the cogs are visible, aren't they?
Yes, we can hear them crunching.
So congratulations to Osprey Games for making it 10 years, and long may it continue, because you've put out some belting games and we really enjoyed it. And we got some very swanky notebooks as well, but we're not allowed to mention that because Steve gets told off when he brings new notebooks home.
Really?
Apparently I have a thing for collecting notebooks.
Our notebooks are beautiful, though.
That is,
Yeah,
I do like a notebook.
There was a caveat with them, which was you had to use it to design a board game.
Better get on it then.
Yeah, best get on it. While I'm here, actually, we mentioned Peachy. We're going to give a shout out. He's doing Peachy Con, which is his little gaming convention, which is having a school. I think it's been very miniature game focused, but if you're in Derby Way, that's 10th of August. If you want to know anything more about it, go check out his Instagram, which is Peachy Tips. Not PG Tips, Peachy Tips. But we're trying to see if some of us can pop along to that, but I'll put the link in the show notes anyway if anyone's interested in going to that. But that wasn't the only birthday, was it?
It wasn't. It was effortless transition to talking to another birthday.
A significantly more important birthday, I might add.
And a significantly higher number, we might
Yeah, less of that.
Go on then, Mr. Lewis, explain.
I have reached the ripe old age, although still younger than Steve, of 46.
Beautifully done, sir. Beautifully done.
Get
I
the
got the jibe
sneaky
in
dick
early because I knew it was coming.
So I, instead of holding a Kaylee, which I held for my 40th, which was a frightening 6 years ago, I can't believe that's gone. That time's gone.
Bloody hell. I remember going to that with the kids.
Yeah, I know. We all remember it, some of it a bit. But so instead of that, I decided we take advantage of our local institute where we play our games on a Thursday night anyway, and make use of their little room they've got, hire it out, and hold a small gaming convention. So we did, and it was very successful. So Mr. Gill and Mrs. Gill came along with I think a bad case of hangover, but at least they showed up.
It was bad. I mean, I was going to try and deny it, but it was.
He was very bleary-eyed. How he'd driven there, I don't know.
Yes, slowly, I'm guessing. The Tudors arrived, which was very good. They stayed for quite a while, actually. It was nice. But
Let's get a dog sitter, so yeah.
it was brilliant, yes. Brought some excellent games, one of which I think we're going to be talking about later. There's some foreshadowing.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, it was great. I think we had about 30, 35 folk turn up throughout the day, so it was kind of a walk-in, walk-out kind of thing. It was quite a nice day as well, not too hot, because that room can get very, very warm in the summer, but I think it was good. It was successful. It was fun. A range of games were played.
What was the board gaming highlight of Lewis 46 Con?
Oh, I don't know, probably Pitch Car, actually, because we'd set that up. There's a small stage at the front of the hall, and we'd set up a game of Pitch Car, which is essentially it's a racing game, but you flick the counters around this little racetrack. So it's kind of a cross between Subutio and Heat, basically.
All right.
It's really fun, but one of our gaming friends has got like it and a load of expansions. So he's got some tricksy like cross tracks. One's even got a loop-the-loop, which is impossibly hard to get around. There's a jump, there's various other bits and bobs. So yeah, you can play up to like 12 people if you've got all of these little counters, and it's really great fun. Apparently we were getting quite rowdy and put some people off their game. I heard later on, but you know, it's fun, it's a laugh. But no, there was some good games played. A few people brought their own, but there was a little library which I extended from my own collection, which seemed to go down quite well. So yeah, it was a good thing. And most of us were sober.
Well, many happy returns as well, Lewis. I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
That's quite all right. I know you had parental responsibilities. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to leave them in a ditch, or at least not more than once.
Mm-hmm. And they're not allowed to be anywhere near you, so...
Well, that's fair, yes. And that's fine, that suits me. I don't want them anywhere near me either.
Oh, dear.
Lest they get a clip around the ear hole.
Unless they pick up any more bad language, Logan is already quite good at that.
Is he? Well, he hasn't got it from me. I've only met him twice.
He's got it from one person in this collective.
That would be you, Mr. Gill.
No, it's not me.
You say that though, right? The other week, Logan, I was laughing, and he's like, I'm looking at my phone, laughing. He goes, "What are you laughing at, Dad?" I was like, Sid sent me a message, and he read the message, and it was Wanker. It was just one word message. And he goes, "What's so funny about Wonka?" Right. Nice. And I didn't want to correct him. So now, every now and then, Logan will just call me a Wonka. I know what he means. But he's saying the wrong word. It's great.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, I'm not the only one that's teaching it backwards.
I'm teaching them passively, you see.
Passively teaching.
Passively teaching them.
It has given me I say impetus. A few questions were asked about, when are you going to do ColliderCon, Andy? Yeah, all right, eventually.
Well, that was your warm-up, wasn't it? That was your mini
warm-up.
ColliderCon.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's off to a solid start. So we just need to up it to 500 people next year, in a suitably large venue, and it'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm having absolutely nothing to do with the organisation of that. It will stress me the hell out.
That's easy. Organising events is a doddle.
But surely, with all the clipboard action, you could get involved.
I don't have enough clipboards to manage a convention.
Well, you'd have to get you one of those little radio mics, so you could be talking to all your minions to get them in the right places.
Okay, actually, I'm sold. That's in. I'm in. I like that.
Dice spillage in Zone 4. We've got a dice spillage, dice action team.
Dice action team.
We've lost a D4!
I think we should move on.
I don't know. We're picking on Rory now. It's amusing.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Shall we talk about the game we did actually play at Andy's birthday?
Yes.
And Sid is the only person I think who's not played this. This is a Kickstarter game, or it's coming to Kickstarter very soon, I believe. Rory, you are the man with the facts on this.
I am the man with the facts.
I've had to write this. This is a game called Jackpot Set the Reel. And I've had to write this down because I keep wanting to call this Jackpot 7 because the front cover of the box says Jackpot and there's a big number 7 and Set the Reel is in quite small font.
Some feedback for the designers there.
Yeah.
Wait, it's coming to Kickstarter on August the 11th and it's going to be for 17 rips.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely punt territory, that is.
Oh, caveat before I go any further, actually. This is a Kickstarter game, so what we were sent was a prototype. It obviously needed some extra work. There's some work to be done on the rulebook. Whether the game that comes out will be tweaked between now and release, we don't know. So just put that huge, massive grain of salt on top of everything we say. This is a game which mimics slot machines / one-arm bandits, depending on where you are in the world.
Puggies.
So,
Puggies.
Puggies? What the
Puggies,
hell is
mate.
Puggy?
Puggies.
Puggy. It's a puggy.
It's a puggy, isn't it?
Fruit machine. Puggy.
All right, fruit machine, slot machine, one-arm bandit, Puggy. Puggy's a complete new one on me, but there we go. A Puggy. You realise you two could say absolutely anything, and I believe you say it with a Scottish accent.
Absolutely could.
So, what is quite interesting about this game is you will have a hand of 10 cards, which once you're dealt initially and shuffled, you cannot change the order of those cards. And what you effectively have to do is place 3 cards down which represent your fruit machine rollers going round. So the 3 icons that appear on your fruit machine. As the game goes on, you will get gold, money, depending on how many symbols you've got. So if you get 2 symbols the same placed down, you'll get 2 coins. But you'll do this 3 times, placing the cards on top of each other, making like a 3x3 grid. And then at the end of the round, you'll pass your remaining cards to someone else. And then you pick up your cards, choosing which column order you pick the cards up in. So basically, whatever laid down cards you put down first will be number 1 in the column, then number 2. Effectively reshuffling the order. Again, you'll pick them all up. You can't change the order. The aim of the game is to score your 3 of a symbol. 3 cherries, 3 grapes, 3 bells, 3 sevens, and each one of them gets you an achievement card. And each of these achievement cards are worth star points. Simply, first person to 35 points wins the game effectively. It technically ends the game, but generally we've found that if you get to that, you've won anyway. Although last game we played, we had 2 people at 35 and 1 at 37, so it can get quite close. It's got a little bit of a deck building type of thing to it, because what you can do is you can upgrade cards, so you can spend some of that money you've earned to flip them over. What's really interesting is some of the cards get better as you flip them over. Some of the cards just change. So it allows you to manipulate your hand better. So it's not, you're not always changing to something that's better, you might be changing to something you want. You can also upgrade, buy cards from like a deck that's in front of you. And what happens is when you buy these cards, you will discard a card from your hand, jettison it from the game and replace the one you've bought. So you're trying to get this 3x3 to work so that basically you're constantly, if possible, laying down 3 symbols in a row. I think it's quite unique.
It is at that.
It's a little bit difficult to explain at first because it doesn't feel like anything else I've played. I mean, someone's probably going to point a game that came out 10 years or 15 years ago that's similar, but to me it feels rather unique in that regard.
You're absolutely right. I hadn't even considered that this is a deck builder until you said it. And it's like, actually, obviously, it's a deck builder, slowly, kind of. But that's not the main function of the game. It's not even like a placement thing, is it? You're not even like building a tableau. You say by 3x3. You're not really building a tableau, but you kind of are. You know, you've got your one column or one row. It's kind of a tableau. It's 3 cards. You need it to be in a particular way. And then you need to build your 3 rows in a particular way so that you can pick them up again. But it's not really that either. You're right. It's a very unique game. I think this is a very interesting game.
I think it's more of an engine builder, if anything. So it's a bit more like Furnace or London, in that you don't build your deck, you change your deck.
Yeah. It's a deck changer.
That's
a good. There we go. Yeah.
But then because your deck is always only ever going to be 10 cards as well, so you're not making it ever any bigger, are you? Yeah, you're just manipulating your one, and your deck isn't really a deck either. It's more of a hand.
Yes,
because you can see everything, and you just need to say, I'm going to take these 3 cards from the middle and put those down, which means those 2 cards that were the other side of that 3 are now adjacent to each other, which is what I want. So that hand manipulation as well. I think this is a really light, really fast, very interesting game that I had quite a lot of fun playing, and I had quite a lot of fun trying to optimize how I was playing it and how I was then building up my columns so that my next round would score well. I think there were lots of little interesting decisions in this, and I enjoyed it.
I must say I enjoyed it as well. My only issue I had was that Andy twigged this game almost immediately. And then, like, the second hand was like laying down 3 lots of 3 in a row.
Wow.
So it was out of the gate running, basically.
Oh, yeah. By the end of round 2, I think I'd got 18 points. So.
Oh, that's bloody good.
Yeah. That was my thought at the time. Like, oof.
Yeah.
Turns out Andy's played quite a lot of fruit machines in his time. So. But I have to say, I quite enjoyed it for what it's worth. It was interesting, I agree. The one thing that put me off when Steve was explaining the rules to me, though, he said, you can't manipulate your hand, you have to take things out in the same order. So what, like Scout, which immediately put me off. Yeah. Because we all loved that game, didn't we?
Do you know what? I'd completely forgotten that because I've completely erased Scout from my memory.
Sensible. But it's miles better than Scout, which admittedly is like saying you're the most handsome man in the Burns unit, but it is much better than Scout.
No, the game's a lot better than that. I think
it is completely better.
It's a really fun, quirky, light, interesting game. I think this is type of, I'd quite happily, this is the type of thing, it's one of those that I'd probably have in the back of the car or just there as an emergency. We've got half an hour left or we're in the pub. It's like, should we play a game? Because I think it would fit quite nicely on a pub table. At a player count, or I think at a low player count, this game still works really well.
To have it in a pub
and it's
as well,
bang on theme to play it in a pub or an amusement park. That's even better, but a bit noisy perhaps. But
the services when you go to the toilet, yes, because you have to walk past the fruit machine bit, adults only. Yeah, play it there. Yeah, it was all right. I enjoyed it. I mean, there's not much player interaction, which is, take that for what it is. So you can't really... Yeah. I mean, you hand one card off to your opponent, but generally speaking, it won't really affect them in reality.
There's a little bit of like, I'm going to make sure that I hand the card to the next person they don't want.
Yes.
That did come into it a little bit like, person next to me is collecting melons. Well, if I give them another melon, it's just going to help them even further. So let's try and give them a cherry, which they haven't got in their set. So it's a bit of dross.
True.
That I started doing that a little bit, but you're right, it's minimal.
Yeah. So yeah, the scaling is fairly straightforward in that it doesn't. It is pretty much multiplayer solitaire,
and that's okay. Yeah,
it's quite pretty. The artwork's decent. It's clear. The iconography is pretty good. It works.
Yeah.
It's
that's a fun little game.
Top little game that is. This is from Dranda Games. Again, coming to Kickstarter on the 11th of August. Go check that out if it sounds like your cup of tea.
While we're talking about Kickstarter, very quick shout out. In the last episode, we mentioned Take the Throne, which was another quick little game. that hit Kickstarter the day we're recording. So which is the Tuesday. So if you're listening to this, the week after this comes out, I think you've got like another 2 weeks left. Highly recommend it. Definitely punt territory.
Another great game to play in the pub as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's
definitely. That's all player interaction.
Oh. Yes, it is. It's brilliant. I think the base copy of that is £16, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, plus £5 shipping if you're in the UK, so it's about 21 quid. Another game which is coming out soon, though not to Kickstarter, and if you were at Expo and listened to our Expo podcast, you will know of this game, is Fathom from Paperfork Games. Now, I do have to apologise to everyone here. This is a game that John really liked, and unfortunately John can't make it onto this recording episode, so we can't get John's thoughts on this. Because he was the one that was championing this game. But me and Rory have played a few games of this, so we can let you know. This is a game about deep sea exploration, in which the theme of the game is you are exploring the ocean depth and doing
exploration-y type stuff.
Ecological studies of animals, of coral, of crabs, and all kinds of things.
Looking for treasure and not buried treasure, sunken treasure. That's the word, yeah.
Sunken treasures there as well, yeah. The game works, you've got this hexagonal board in front of you, and what you're trying to do on that board is effectively make combinations. Now, I don't know if there's a collective name for this, but anyone who's played a board game will probably recognise these. It's things like, if you have 3 pieces of coral next to you, it scores next to each other, you score 9 points. If there's a crab next to a piece of coral, it scores 1 point. If it's next to 2 different types of coral, it scores 2 points. And it's that kind of thing where everything has like a situational score, and what you're trying to do is make the best score on your little sonar or map of the ocean depth. The game is actually scenario based, and within the box there are 4 scenarios. So this scoring system changes a bit in each game. There's 4 base creatures, which are basically icons, which you can put on the base of the board, which are in every single game. Then there'll be 2 which get added every time you play, and they're just slightly different.
Is it a bit like Harmonies in that sense, then?
I would put it as a little bit simpler to Harmonies, but you're right.
Okay.
It's that kind of thing. The other thing that made me think of it, like Canvas.
Yes.
Yeah, in Canvas you've got the scoring, like you score this if it's next to that and this. It's kind of like that, but in 3D. So yeah, but Harmonies is a good shout, actually. But you've also got, which is the thing that kind of catches everyone's eyes, a little sonar board, which goes in the middle of the board, and this is where the tiles get placed out of people's bags. And you do this thing where players split that board. So your actual sonar that goes round is somewhere where you put to signify which section of the board you're going to take tokens from and add tokens to when you draw them out the back. So there's a little bit of trying to manipulate that to get the things you want. Now, where the kind of meat of the game really is, you have a boat and a submersible, and the boat stays on the surface and can plunks around at like a low speed, but the submersible is the one that basically does all the actions. It moves around and grabs tokens and flips tokens. And that's the other thing I forgot to mention. When you grab a token, which is like a crab token, a coral token, it goes face down, and then you have to spend an action to turn it over. So just having the tile on your board is not enough. You have to have it face up as well. And the interesting kind of meat of the game is you've got 4 of these little actions which the submarine can go around, and it's optimising that to try and get all the scoring opportunities you can. And then, I said, there's 4 scenarios, some of which add in extra rules, like one of the scenarios, you've got a flounder. At the end of the round, you can move a flounder closer to another flounder. Little things like that. It is pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, really quick.
45 minutes tops.
Yeah, tops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's surprisingly light. I think it makes itself more complicated in some ways than it needs to be, because what you've got on the bottom of your sonar board is a little console, which you have little icons. They look like gear sticks. At first, I thought it was going to be like the old gear sticks from Heat.
Yeah,
because they actually has little slots. It looks like a little gear grid,
really
as you move things into slots. But all that is effectively like your game stage tracker. So it's basically the thing that says, right, first thing we do is draw a tile from the bag, then we put a tile on the board, then we grab the sonar, then we put bonus tiles on, then we get our submarine things. Which means that basically it's aimed at people, it's aimed at a very beginner-friendly level here, because everything is there to help you to get on with the game and keep track of everything. To us, it felt like a bit of unnecessary faff moving these things around, because we can follow a list. But I can see what they've tried to do is they've added a little bit of complexity with things happening in stages and just making sure that everyone knows what all these stages are.
And I think that's a good point, Steve. I think this game is aimed at gateway gamers. I think
Yes.
it is tailored for that. It kind of holds your hands through your player turn. It makes everything quite straightforward, and it's got that accessible theme of it's not dwarves, it's not space, it's not 14th century farmers. This is just exploring a sea and looking for creatures that you're very familiar with from any of the Blue Planet series. And it's quite simple. It is, you take tiles from a bag, you place them down next to your ship, you spend some points to move your submersible and turn them over. They both move differently, because was it the submersible moves from the vortices?
Yeah, so the ship is inside the hex and the sub is on the edges
On the
of the
edges.
hexes.
So they move,
Yeah.
they slightly different moves and they have their slightly different actions. But this is a straight up and down tile laying game, and you're min-maxing your points to try and make sure that you've turned everything over and it's all in the right place. It does exactly what it does on the tin. I found this probably a little bit too light for me, but conversely, I think the scoring was probably a little bit too complex for the kids. I wouldn't put this down. Logan probably wouldn't enjoy the mental arithmetic of trying to work out what was the best way to score. Because I think one of them is like the bigger if you have coral's worth more points the bigger it is if it's of one colour. But I think, as Steve alluded to there, crabs are worth more points if they're next to different colour types of coral, different colours of coral. So you kind of I want a mix of coral to score well on that, but I don't want a mix of coral because I want to score well on that. And working out which one is the better thing to score adds a layer of complexity that I don't think children, family gamers would enjoy.
Well, it's more than that, though, isn't it? Because so I played this with John, and
Of course you did.
The moving of the bag and the handing of the bag and pulling from different persons' bags puts a whole lot of randomness into this as well.
Yeah.
So I found myself constantly rejigging what I was trying to score. So there's an optimization in here when you play it properly, and it's too hard for kids. Kids won't be able to get their heads around that, as you say, that complexity of
I
scoring.
don't think the
and win
satisfaction,
criteria.
I don't think the payoff for the complexity is going to be there for
It's
children.
too slow for kids. But on the other hand, I think you hit it nail on the head there. I think for a gateway game for adults or older children, it's absolutely bang on, and it's a good fun wee game. It doesn't demand too much from you. The little console, I'm out of that. I kept forgetting to move mine, which then caused me more confusion than if it wasn't there.
We had one incident where one player launched their little gear stick at another player at the table.
Deliberately? Or?
No.
Frustration.
Amanda totally threw it at my face because I told her off because she didn't move it. She went, "Sod off, Rory," and threw it at me.
And I don't blame her, because I kept forgetting to move mine. And then it causes confusion, because the other thing with this game is you're doing simultaneous actions, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you can do your own little board on your own, and other people do their own bit. And every now and then you'll glance over and somebody sat there shooting the breeze, but the little thing hasn't moved. And you're going,
Yeah. Where
are you finished? What the hell are you doing? Are you done? Not done? Have you just not moved your thing? Or are you just sitting around there having a contemplation of life? And that... It's a weird thing to get narky about, right? But
It is.
if it's there, it needs to kind of do its thing without me depending on me. And unfortunately, I think I let that little console down. It just didn't work for me at all. I kept forgetting to move it. But
I can understand when if the submarine movements, knowing you've got 4 actions with your submarine and keeping track of them, especially when you're trying to really optimise that turn, was useful. I just felt the rest of that console was...
yeah.
You couldn't play things out of order. Only as long as one person knew the order things happened in, it was fine.
I enjoyed it, I must admit. I enjoyed the... you can be a dick in this game by how you place those bits of sonar tile. You could be a right arsehole.
I think only when you are first player. First player has the greatest dick ability. After
But
that,
you all get a chance.
everyone gets a chance at first player. You're absolutely right. Yeah. because it just circles around the board, doesn't it?
It does. But even player two still get some choice. They don't have to go opposite. They
get some choice.
It's the fourth guy. He's screwed.
No, I
No choices.
I did get very annoyed at that. I'm not saying not at that, at the people who were making the choices that made it difficult for me to get the things, or impossible for me to get the things I wanted. But again, it's part of the game. Everyone gets an opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's Fathom from Paperfork Games. It's going to be out, I believe, in August.
That's pretty soon.
I don't have it. We don't have a date, but yeah, it's going to be out.
No, it's
going to be out this month when you're listening to this. So there you go. So from exploring the seas, shall we now talk about kind of warfare across the seas?
Ooh.
Why not?
Why not?
Smooth.
Yeah. This is how the shipwrecks got there.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to talk about Cyclades. This is from Cyclades, the Legendary Edition, from Studio H, and this was kindly provided to us by Hachette Board Games UK. So thank you guys for sending us. We've had a lot of fun playing this.
Well, there's a cat getting out of a bag right there, isn't it?
We've had a lot of fun. This game's caused some emotions. Like, I remember the end of that first game, I was fuming. I was fuming at the end of the last game, but at the end of the end of the most recent game, I was ecstatic, even though I lost.
True.
Yeah.
You did embrace the chaos and fully embrace the kind of game it was.
Yeah. So
Cyclades is a bit of a classic game now, and this is a re-implementation of it.
2009. I've got it on my notes.
2009.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been around a while, Cyclades.
Yeah. So this is a second edition, and what it does is, now I've not played, I don't think anyone here has played the original edition. This tweaks a few things, and what I've done is I've tried to look at pictures on BGG to work out what's different. And the major difference is some of the, if you're familiar with Cyclades, and we'll get to the rules in a second, the bidding tracks have changed. So they used to be linear, and now they're exponential. And then the map is completely different. So the old version was basically like almost discs, which had islands on. This is a very weird tessellating map system, which creates this like sea of land masses that's random every time. So if you don't know, Cyclades is set in the Cyclades seas of Greek mythology. You are taking on one of the various Greek islands. No names are given to who you are, and you have to basically conquer the land and build 3 metropolises. Metropoli?
Metropolises. I also looked that up in my notes as well.
That's metropolises. Okay. You'll do this by building one of the 4 basic buildings, which are barracks, ports, temples, and universities. Oh, I've got that right. And as soon as you've built 4 of them, they will all disappear and get replaced by a metropolis. And basically, at the end of a round, the game ends when someone has built 3 of these metropolis, and whoever has the most metropolis at that point wins. Now, you can also capture buildings off the enemy, which is where the fun comes in. It's not just about sitting there and building. You can also invade, fight, kick everyone out, and take over that building. So far, so dudes on a map, as they say. And it says dudes on a map. You've got little wooden ships, you've got little wooden soldiers, and you've got little standees of Greek heroes that you can hire. The main game, however, is actually bidding at the temples of the gods. So each round there'll be a number of gods available equal to the number of players, and the 4th one is always the wooden spoon god, who basically just gives you some extra cash. I can't remember the name of the gods, but yeah, Apollo.
God of War.
Each one of the gods.
That sounds a bit beneath thing, to be honest.
Apollo's god of sun. Come on.
He was originally the god of war, but he became the god of the sun after what's his name? Helios basically gave up the gig.
You need. That's not what Stephen Fry said, son. But anyway,
it is absolutely what Stephen Fry said.
Anyway, you will bid on the favour of these gods, and each of these gods gives you a different action you can do that round. Generally, it involves building one of these buildings. So the game ticks on nicely because most people will be building at least one of these buildings every round. But they'll also give you different things. For instance, if you're going to go for Zeus, it allows you to get a monster on your side for free. which we'll get onto in a second. But some of the Poseidon allows you to build ships and move ships. Who is the god of war in this game? I can never remember the name. The red one, Ares. Ares allows you to recruit soldiers.
It's Ares is god of war.
People.
Sorry, Apollo's like music and all that sort of fancy shit.
Yeah, no, he's down the bottom.
Go on, Andy. Andy, go on, say the words, Andy. Go on, say the words.
No, because you weren't necessarily right, because I said he was god of the sun as well. After Helios, which
Rory
I was
is right. Rory is right. Rory is right. No, okay.
Because I was right as well. You can go f*** yourself, sunshine. Because you said Helios wasn't god of the sun, and it absolutely was. Why do you think it's called Helios?
Anyway, there's also heroes, which you can buy with certain actions, allowed to buy heroes. Generally, you need heroes if you want to invade. Some of them have, well, they all have interesting powers. They're not just the character, they've all got interesting powers. Some of those powers are definitely more interesting than others. Mm-hmm. But you've also got a myriad of Greek monsters, which you can hire during most rounds of the game. And some of these are units which go on the board. Other ones just have instant effects. Other ones are basically just FU cards that come out and screw everyone over.
Nice.
This game is superb.
I
so much fun.
Really enjoyed this game. But caveat, it needs to be played at least 4 players.
I think there's a support, 6.
6, yeah. Well, you can play as low as 2. So when Steve and I played our first game, it was 2. And it wasn't great. But 4 players was brilliant. And I fully embraced the chaos. I was just like, if this is a war game with a really clever bidding system that kind of manipulates how everything turns around and how everything ticks over. It's exciting. It's dramatic. You can go from losing to winning in a turn. And you can go from winning to losing just as quickly. It just takes one clever play, something you didn't think about, one risk, one gamble, one card to completely upset everything. And that when that happens against you, it sucks. But when you do it, it is amazing. When you see it happening to somebody else, it is hilarious.
And every single game has that happen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the first game, when we played 2-player, didn't happen much. But to be fair, that basically just taught us the rules.
Yeah.
Every other game we played after that with multiple people, something has happened that no one was expecting, which has just completely flipped the table about what's happening.
Yeah.
Somebody got Jason. Somebody got the Jason character. The Jason character can use other people's boats.
Somebody got Jason. It was you, Tudor.
No, it wasn't. It was Adam.
Was it? I'm sure it was you.
Yeah, it wasn't me who got Jason. No,
I'm sure.
I was about to get to my shenanigans, but somebody got Jason, Adam got Jason, and basically moved right the way across the map and invaded got someone's metropolis, which was unguarded because they thought, I've got loads of boats in the way, I'll be fine.
But that's the perk of using Jason. Jason can use anybody's boats. So it stuffed us. It makes it really powerful, yeah.
Those Argonauts were bastards.
No, I managed to go from 1 metropolis to 4 metropolis in a single round, which was my amazing goal. Yeah, that tells you how much this game can flip. I managed to invade somewhere which gave me an extra building, which got me Metropolis. I got one of those, what's it called, cards?
The philosopher cards. You got 4.
The philosopher cards. I had 4 of them, which means I could build another metropolis. And then I invaded you, Rory, which gave me a 4th one. It was genius.
And I was okay with that because in that game, I was sitting on 2 of 3, so I was so close to getting that 3rd one and winning. I was sitting on 2, and I didn't build any of them. I took them from other players, and I had a lot of fun doing that and pissing Dave off in the process.
Now we've got the retail version of this game, which comes with wooden components. Which I think looks absolutely beautiful, but I've seen pictures of the deluxe version of this game. Actually has miniatures for everything as well, which I'm not sure it needs them.
No.
I think the wooden components look nice enough, really.
I think if I had this game in my collection, I had the retail edition, I'd be tempted to find nice 3D sculpts of the monsters and just have the monsters as minis. Get a nice Medusa monster, a nice Kraken mini. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. Kerberos, another one. Just a nice mini that you just go, it's just there, and not use the standees. I'd still go with the hero standees though. But
Okay.
I think this is a fantastic game, a lot of fun, but I think you've got to play it with that mentality. You are going to get screwed over and you need to screw over the people. There is an argument to say that you can turtle, you can just go in a corner and nicely build and get your metropolises that way. But I think the game wants you to kick off and have a fight. The game wants you to get up in each other's grills. And the sooner you do that, I think the more fun you have. Having played it the more turtling fashion, and I played it as a war game, I had a lot more fun as a war game.
Do you know what? This actually sprung something in the back of my brain. We've been playing so many Euro type games over the last few years on this podcast, and I love them. I love the way they make my brain burn. But I realised how much I missed that old Ameritrash style game. Because that's what this is, which is weird to say it's an Ameritrash type game, because it isn't really. No. Because the bidding, the only randomness is there's a dice that goes between 1 and 3, which happens when you attack. So you can mitigate most of that with the number of troops, or you can take a gamble. The rest of the game is pretty much determined just about on how much money you've got to bid on the gods. But it made me realise just how much I missed this kind of game.
I would really, the next time the four of us play a game, I would really like to play this, the four of us, because I think someone would get punched.
And that exactly, listening to you boys now with the enthusiasm you're pouring on this game is so awesome to hear. And that is exactly what Ameritrash games do. And I think they should be applauded for that.
It's exciting. It's brilliant.
It's beautifully put together. This new version it's colourful, the graphic design's beautiful, the artwork's beautiful. I have one slight issue with it in that regard, in that the bidding table has to go somewhere and there is a map in front of you. So generally what happens to be is that the people at the opposite end of the table to the gods board have to stand up every so often and double check the numbers.
Yeah.
But there's no way you can get around that, really.
It's quite a big table space on this.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel egregious. It's not like some of the other games we played where you go, oh, it feels like it's wasted space. It's taken up by a freaking huge map.
Which is dynamic and exciting and changes every single game. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think I've got anything else to say about this other than I now want to play it again.
Nice. Do you know what you could do? You could add a little aside in this, because one of the Cycladian islands is actually Santorini. So if anyone takes Santorini, you should have a game of Santorini between the two people who are fighting over it.
I like that.
It's a meta game.
Totally. We used to do that in school. It was when we played Mighty Empires. That was a long time ago.
Oh, God.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That was kind of basically like big, Warhammer Fantasy before it became Age of Sigmar. And what the guys used to do, they had play a game of Mighty Empires, basically this big hex-based thing. And every time they had a land battle, they played Warhammer Fantasy Battles, see who won that. And then every time they had a sea battle, they played Manowar. This game of Mighty Empires lasted months.
It was designed for that, though, wasn't it? Because there were rules to have combat in the game, but it also gave you rules for turning your list or your unit you'd put into that zone into an army list. I always wanted to play Mighty Empires. And I kind of want to go back and play it now, but because I never ever played it. But I have a funny feeling it's one of those games you go back and look at a 30, 40-year-old game and go,
this is a bit clunky. Yeah.
Yep.
I never played it, I only watched it, but it was good. It was good fun. Anyway.
Did you know they did a 40k version as well?
Did they?
Yeah, it was. I think it was only around War Master, I think it was called. And it wasn't around for very long, but it had like a little model tile. The hexes were all models, and you had full-on hive tiles you had in there. Looks. If you ever have a look at the images online of it, it looks really cool.
Amazing.
But yeah, I don't think it lasted long. So yes, that was Cyclades. Well, we loved it.
We did.
Can't wait to play it again, to be fair.
Right, so from exploring the seas and duking it out over, with monsters and heroes to travelling the stars and duking it out with lasers and spaceships.
And pirates.
And pirates.
Pirates, yeah.
We're going to talk about Transgalactica from De Vere, again, kindly provided by the publisher. And Transgalactica is a pretty middleweight Euro game from Danielle Teschini. I'm getting some unusual faces when I said middleweight Euro.
It's middle. It's not that heavy.
It's punching towards the top end of middle, I think.
I'd say about 3.6, 3.7 out of 5. It's not heavy. Not really. Mechanically, it's pretty straightforward.
Is that direct from BGG?
No, it isn't. I haven't looked at it.
3.7 on
There
Board
you
Game
go.
Geek.
See? As I am a bit of a Teschini fan, let's be fair, I have many of his games. And this is, I suppose, a kind of T game, because it starts with T, although this one's pronounceable, just. And it does fall into his usual 4 or 5 tracks that you have to get up to do well in the game kind of shtick. So ultimately, this is a game where you are essentially expanding throughout a bunch of planets. They could be star systems, a little bit abstracted, but there's a bunch of planets in the main board, and there's a bunch of tracks around the edge. And the clever thing is, you have a limited number of captains with which to do actions, and you will go to generally one of these tracks. There are a couple of other spaces as well to do an action, and the clever bit here is other characters can use one of their is it lieutenants or one of their sort of cabin crew?
Crewmates,
sorry.
Yeah, captain's crewmates. Then one of the special white ones is a lieutenant.
There's a lieutenant, there you go.
That's where you got lieutenants.
Whoa. Lieutenant, we're British.
That's true, lieutenant, yeah. And you can follow another person's action, which allows you to basically do a lesser powerful version of the main action. So it might cost you a bit more to do it, or you get to do slightly less with it, for example. And these generally will give you access to more cards, which give you missions, or they can give you tech, which allow you to do more with a particular action that you might do. There's a military track that you can go up, which allows you to beat up pirates, because certain pirates are occupying some of the planets in the main board, which you can't go to unless you've got enough military strength, just to basically give them what for. There are a couple of other tracks as well, but ultimately climb these tracks, do these actions, mine your planet. So some of the planets you can stick down a little mining colony on there, which will give you access to additional resources, of which there are 3, 4. You've got money?
Not counting
envelopes.
money, we've got 3. So you've got minerals, electricity, and aliens.
That's it, yes. And the minerals weirdly look like envelopes, so it's quite confusing. But pink envelopes. And you will spend these things to basically either you can put down colonists, which little colonies, I should say, which gives you ownership to a planet. They're generally quite limited, so it's a kind of first come first served basis. So if you've got a colony on a planet, there's probably usually only 1 or 2 spots, so you want to get there in first. The more colonies you have down, the more stuff you'll get. So you'll get like either an income at the start of each round, which could give you resources, give you extra points if you've got enough of these things down. Put this stuff on the board to get you more things, to put more things on the board. The usual affair. I don't think it's any more complicated than that, to be honest.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Andy. This game, when you break it down to that level, you've got 2 captains. You're going to place a captain out, do an action. You'll place another captain out, do an action. You'll use your crewmates for some piggybacking, but really it's just do an action, and that might be fly a ship, put down a colony, go up the technology tree and get a technology, go to the mission log, get another mission, harvest resources. The actual actions themselves are quite straightforward, and the things you do as a player are quite straightforward. But I think the really interesting thing in this game is the action piggybacking. I think that's what makes this game different.
I'd agree with that, yeah, because you're limited with a number of these little sort of crewmates that you've got. You can get more. They're sort of basically grown in a vat, and you can release some of them, which is a double-edged sword, because if you have a lot of them, up to about 4 or 5, I think you can have at a single time, it means you can do more piggybacking. But the more you have, the less income you get at the start of your turn, so you have fewer resources with which to do those actions.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting sort of nice balance point there. You've got to kind of time it right. And of course, there's other ways to unlock these guys. But if you've got a full ship, you can't have any more crewmates, which means they go back into storage. So you've wasted an action. So there's a bit of an efficiency drive there as well. You've got to time your actions carefully to make sure that you can make the best use of the resources you've got in front of you.
Because you have to use these crewmates to bagsy the very typical gold cards. There is 4 gold cards, and you need one of those to to Bagsy it, you also need them to be able to. Some planets require a crewmate to form the colony as well. So you need to make sure you've got them to be able to do that thing and not leave yourself shortchanged for the next round of piggybacking.
Because you don't want to run out of piggybacks, because if you run out of piggyback actions, you're not going to win. It's as simple as that. You need to keep this action economy going. But you don't want too many, because it'll just literally clog up your board and you'll get no resources, so you can't do anything. So it's a lovely little balance point. So ideally you want to sort of put a colony down, stick a guy in it just to keep that space open. So if you gain another colonist or you gain some income the next time, you've got something with which to work. And I thought it was all right. But I'm not going to go any further than that.
No.
Did you play this, Sid?
I've not played Transgalactica. No.
Yes,
I
yes,
thought you
you
had for some
have.
reason.
You played it with me and Steve and Amanda.
Did I? That shows you how much it stuck in my head.
Wow.
Do you not
Sid
replay
can't
it?
even remember
The
it.
first play
no.
we bumbled through the rule book, which we need to come on.
I have played it, yeah. I have played it. This is the... Just give me a minute. Oh, yeah, this is that one with the planets, yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I don't have a strong feeling about it.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I would say this game has come under quite a lot of criticism for the quality of the rulebook.
Unfair
No.
criticism, I would say as well.
I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are making
No.
out. I feel as if the people who are making out that this is the worst rulebook ever written have clearly not played that many games.
Yeah.
I think the problem I had with this, right, is De Vere for me hit the pinnacle with Salt and Sea. Right? That game was just absolute genius. And you know when you've had something, you've had the best.
Yeah.
Very little comes close. And unfortunately with De Vere, everything else of theirs I've played is just never quite hit what Salt and Sea did. And maybe I'm chasing something. Maybe I'm chasing an impossible dream. And maybe I'm being very unfair to everything that comes after it. But it just didn't quite do it for me.
So we talk about the rule book, and they did come under a lot of flack. I think unfairly. De Vere have had some... I mean, like, Salt and Sea is a fantastic rule book. Sand was arguably backwards.
Yes.
You know,
Ass backwards, yes.
Hard Rock or Rock Hard. That was a decent rule book that did the job. I think Transgalactica left out some clarifications of things. I think it left out some examples. But when we played it, and our first game, bumbling through the rule book, learning it as reading the rule book as we're playing, we made some, like, we're quite established gamers. We just made some assumptions, and to an assumption, we were right every single time. So I think this probably means this, and we go, well, the graphic design, yeah, it looks right. We made, like I say, a gentleman's agreement. Yes, you're right. We'll look it up later, and we were right every single time. It just took a really small leap of faith. Had that been in the rule book, we wouldn't have needed to have that discussion, and the game wouldn't have slowed down there. But it was fine. It's fine.
That's exactly my thing. It's fine.
See,
It's a totally... I played a game, unfortunately for me.
No. See, I like this game. I like how up and down I am with it. Some games I'll have a really good game. Sometimes I'll have a really bad game. Like, managing resources, for some reason, is easier sometimes than it is in others. The missions, the technologies, the goals all change. And I'll be chasing one thing and I have that Rory mechanic blindness where I completely forget about this thing, and it's actually really important to move your ship, Rory, in a game about exploring space.
Oh, yeah, that was the classic one. I'm going to do this. Well, your ship's not there, Rory. I'm not going to do that.
The thing is, I think this is not even Taschini's best game either. I mean, there's a lot of better ones. In fact, most of his games so far have been better than this, I think. The standouts, obviously, are Tolkien, Teotihuacan, hell, even Tilitum, which is one of the most beige games you'll ever see in your life, was more interesting than this, I think.
I'm with Rory. I liked this, and bizarrely, I liked it a lot, and I cannot work out why. Because I agree with you, Andy. You're looking at this pedigree here of all these other games he's done, and I can see flaws in the game, because if you boil it down, it is just get up the track. It boils down to almost the Taskini basic there, isn't it? Every Taskini's game is about getting up a track, and this is the track of tracks with some planets in the middle. But I don't know, there was something about it I really enjoyed, and I hate the fact that I'm doing a bloody podcast and I can't think of how to describe why I enjoyed this so much.
For me, the really enjoyable thing is what the USP of this game, which is the piggybacking. For me, I go, right, I've got 2 actions that I have control over, and these are 2 actions I want to take this turn. But then Steve comes along and goes, I'm going to go mining. And all of a sudden, I go, I can piggyback on the mining now. And that allowed me to do this. I hadn't considered this as an option. This is a new thing. So then I have to rethink my plan. If I did the mining, then I can get those resources, which means I can stick with my original plan can go out the window because now I've got a better plan because I've got new things that I didn't have before because I didn't think of doing that because I didn't want to do the main action, but I can do the mini action. And that cascade of thoughts is what I really like. It's continually pivoting. It can also be quite paralyzing though. When you're stuck in your go, I need to do X, Y, and Z in this order, and I need somebody, maybe Sid, to go and do this so I can piggyback on that. And when nobody does the piggybacking there, or nobody takes that action and I can't piggyback it, I was like, now I've got to spend an action to do it, and I don't really want to do that because I need to do the other thing. It can be, and then things change on a dime because all of a sudden you've got this thought process, you've got this plan, and someone comes along and does something, and you go, I now need to rethink everything. I need to work out whether it's valuable or not. And then you have the other problem. Once I've had that problem, Sid takes his turn, and then we go, whose turn is it again?
There's a lot of that. But see,
Yeah.
what you've just described is what I love in so many games. It's a constantly pivoting, constantly kind of rethinking and replanning and dealing with a new problem in front of me, right? But in Transgalactica, I don't have the agency to pivot. And that's what I don't like.
So-
If I missed... So if you, for whatever reason, go somewhere... a turn before I needed you to go there.
Yeah.
I can't come back. I can't fix that.
No.
There is no way for me to correct that shit show. And I've lost my control. So I'm the whole round I'm just burning stuff trying to re-pivot. And
I suppose you're right. It is quite an unforgiving game. I will say, having played this at variable player count, my most enjoyable game was when I just played it at 2 players.
Really?
It was easier to keep track of. For one thing, it was easier to keep track of whose turn it was. Andy, you took an action. Will I piggyback or not? No. My go. I'll take my action. So that got rid of one complication from the game. But it also meant that I just had more agency. It was I had more captains, so I was doing 3 actions every round. I had more control over the crewmates that were coming out. I had more control over the board, and I had less interference of thinking interference from other players' choices.
Which is exactly what you just said you enjoyed. You enjoyed the pivoting, the constant evolution, which is coming from the players that are on the table. So it's
a double edge.
Yeah, it's a better game when you've got more players in that sense, but it plays as a game better when you're at 2, which is just, this whole game is just all over the shop.
I like all that thought, but that thought does make the game really long because every player has to do that with every action. And at the start of the game, it's quite quick and easy because you haven't got the resources or you're not on the tracks. It's fine. But later on in the game, you go, well, I've got all of these crewmates now. It's worth doing this. And it just slows everything down.
For me, it played best at 3 because it had a bit more interaction, but not too much. But I have to admit, I'm going to reserve my greatest amount of ire for the art. For it goes, it is hideous.
That is entirely subjective.
Absolutely
it is,
subjective.
but I am correct. It is bloody ugly. It is awful. It is just nasty to look at.
No, but it's so different.
He's right.
I like the art because it stands out so much compared to everything else. It isn't
doesn't
just
make
black
it good, Steve.
with white things on it, which makes it sci-fi. It's something unique. But I looked at the colours. I did think Anna's going to hate this because this is just going to look like brown to Andy. In fact, Tillatum is going to look more colourful.
Yes, it was mostly green, actually, as far as I can remember. Green and pink, which are never two colours that can go well together.
I can see the colours, and I think it's like a toddler. An entire class of toddlers have spewed on a board after eating crayons.
Yeah.
I think it is disgusting.
It's
Well,
not pretty.
We've got a divided opinions on this, haven't we? Nice and even, at least.
Nice and even down the middle there, yeah.
And some conflicting opinions on what the game is. I enjoyed it. I look forward to playing it again, and my next game will probably be only at 2 players as well. I think that was, for me, that's where the sweet spot. But I think 3 is also good.
Oh, we'll split the difference and we'll call it a game, and then people should go and try it.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to bring ourselves into a cohesive middle, are we?
No.
We've got 2 of us at one end and 2 of us at the other end, and it's just like...
No, this is one we're not going to agree on, definitely not. Which is fine. It's going to happen.
It's quite surprising because I'm usually quite a bit of a Taschini fan, actually. But this one, I didn't hate it, but it does not electrify me at all. I'm not interested, so not for me.
Well, that was Transgalactica from Devere Games.
Well, that's us for today, I believe. Thank you. Rory's got his hand up. He wants to say something to class.
Before
yes,
we
Mr.
go,
Summers.
Stephen, can I ask a question to the Polyhedron Collider Collective?
You can ask. I was about to say, you can ask a stupid question, you'll get a stupid answer.
Right,
but go
so
on.
I've got a bit of a conundrum, boys. So, spotted that the season 5 trailer for Stranger Things has been on Netflix recently, and I like my Stranger Things. And then I realised I haven't played the board game In Between from Board and Dice for a little while, which is basically Stranger Things, the board game, and it's bloody brilliant. It's one of my favourite 2-player games. I've now realised that this game is currently on the shelf of my ex-girlfriend. So, the question is, do I initiate contact and try and get my game back, or do I just cut my losses?
Do you know what? That's one of the most... That's a really interesting conversation or question.
Cut it and run. Cut it and run.
Nah, grow some balls. Grow some balls and go and get your fucking game back. Exactly. I know what I've said, and I say it deliberately. I know this is not an accidental statement.
See, now, we should put some context in this as well. This game, I think, has been out of print for probably 8 years.
Yeah.
You got to go and get it back, mate. It's your game.
See, I'm with Andy a little bit here. I think,
Cut my losses.
cut and run. Cut your losses.
No. It's your game.
Well, okay. Well, I've got some opinions and some advice. Thank you very much, gents.
I mean, the other option is I actually have a copy of this game which isn't getting played, so there's always you can have mine.
Flog it to me.
You see? Start going out with Steve. Problem solved.
Steve could just charge extortionate rates for it because I can either pay 50 quid for it or go talk to her. Oh.
How much is your sanity worth? That is the question.
A lot more than 50 quid.
There you go then. Cut it and run.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents.
Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. We have been Polyhedron Collider. If you've enjoyed us, please give us a review on iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. Also, give us some comments on YouTube or anything like that. Like, comment, interact with us. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads as Polyhedron Collider, Board Game Geek Guild 2726, and of course our Discord server, which there is a link to in the show notes. Also, while I remember, in the UK Games Expo episode, we talked about the little dice cubes that John bought.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The one that looks like the Cellar Bites puzzle box from... When we put the code out last time, they weren't in stock, but I've been reliably informed they're now back in stock.
Hooray!
So there will be a discount code in the show notes for that as well.
Rinse their stock again.
Yeah. So, until next time, happy gaming.
It's all right.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye. Is there any segue in between the two? Would
they're
one
both
make more
related. They're both birthdays, weren't
They're
they?
both birthdays. It's
Both birthdays.
both birthdays. I feel so stupid. Is there any way we could segue between this birthday and that birthday? Let me have a think. Fucking dickhead.